Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel, and a few explanation and a few things here. I had some interesting comments actually about the deprecation of some features and some older features and in Windows 12. An interesting comment that I did see, we talked about the deprecation of the steps recorder, for example, and talk about maybe Windows 12's code base could be changed to a point where a lot of the older apps need to be removed. There's some possibility in there, but I think there is mostly and a lot of what's being driven right now. You know what? For things like this steps recorder, yeah, I would agree that that's a possibility, definitely. For what is within Windows, if you remember, there's all sorts of things that are being deprecated. Movies or films and TV app, for example, is an example of what's being kind of, thrown away here and removed eventually. And of course, there's a lot of apps within Windows that have not been updated in a long time. And we know that one of the reasons why these apps are deprecated and going away, it mostly has to do with the European Union requirements with their Digital Market Act, which would make Microsoft have to comply some of these apps with their regulations. So by removing them, it doesn't have to continue working on them because they haven't done so in such a long time. There's, of course, the reason for many changes is really due to that European Economic Area, forcing Microsoft to change things around. And it's sad that it's not making it to us. Honestly, it's very, very crappy that Microsoft cannot just apply all of the changes to everyone, including us. It also explains why in the System tab we now have something called System Components. It's one of the requirements in the European Economic Area Digital Act. Things need to be clear, need to be separate, and so it needs to be told that, okay, here are some core apps from the computer that are in Windows and some that are not. Core apps are in a different app section. A lot of these changes simply come because the European Union is forcing Microsoft to change everything. And one of the things that is interesting, and Paul Thoroth has actually got an article on this where, it shows how easy Microsoft can change things around if they want to, but they just don't want to do it. And this is a case where we're seeing Windows. I say Windows going on the wrong direction. A lot of things were easier in the past than now, and a great example, of course, is the default apps that have been since in Windows 10. It was even better than Windows 11. And Windows 11, we started seeing the default apps be very complicated and change things where, people were going crazy wanting their own favorite apps to do things instead of what Microsoft's forcing you to do. And one of the biggest complaints was Edge taking over everywhere and just not, there's no follow of rules of, yeah, but I have my Google Chrome or Brave or whatever, and I like that to open my the browser. When I click links, that's what should open, not Edge. I don't know. There's a big problem with Microsoft right now, and I think that I get all of these comments all the time of, Microsoft has a right to do what they want. Well, it does to a certain extent, but it's also doing it because it's a bad player, and they are doing bad things, honestly. And Windows has always been on the principle, and how long has been like that? Since Windows 3.1 that I've been using, the principle of, okay, you don't want to have our app, yeah, it's all yours, and use it, and it's okay. And that freedom of Windows was there until Windows 7. It took part of it away in Windows 10, but Windows 10 is still, closer to that freedom of just do what you want than Windows 11 is. Windows 11 is very crappy in that department. And I think that Microsoft needs to realize that at some point, you know what? Let us do what we want. Let us have default apps we want, and stop annoying us with all sorts of changes that are forced on us. It's really becoming sad because it's making the operating system less attractive, and mostly, there's I will use it's crappying up Windows, basically. That's what it's doing. And it's sad that, being forced to do it in one area of the world, they comply, they change things around, and the rest of the world has to still continue suffering with the idiot way of Microsoft's Windows being forced on us with all sorts of things. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.